Hi everybody, welcome back to the Manifold channel. We're going to take a look at some of the new style features in Manifold Release 9, and everything here that we see applies to viewers, and we're going to do it in the context of labels. We can do some really spectacular labeling these days in Manifold Release 9, so let's take a look at some of that. What we're looking at here is a manifold display, and this is a map of Australia with labels on it, and the labels are in this layer here, labels. The labels have been created based on anchor points using these points right here. I'll turn those on as label anchors. We don't normally turn those on, but they're here and around and available to see. And the reason we use labels on anchors is so that we can do stuff like select the label and move it more conveniently, click Update Record, and move that label. Anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to see how these labels relate to those anchor points. Let's begin by zooming in slightly. Okay, we'll do that like that. And now here in the Style panel, let's take a look at how we can style labels. I'm going to use the Total Style button for labels because that enables me to change colors and a lot of other things at once. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the size of the labels slightly so we can better take a look at what's going on here in the preview. And we're going to move the labels. When you turn on Move, that offsets the labels in the given direction. So an angle of 0 moves the label straight up from the anchor point. So an angle of 0 with an offset of 5 points would move the label 5 points above the anchor. Let's see what happens when you do something like a move offset of 90. Well, that's no surprise. That moves it directly to the right. If you do minus 90 or 270, of course, that moves it directly to the left. That's due west, or like I say, minus 90 works also. Labels are often most convenient to place next to tie points. If you put them above to the right or below to the right, people seem to like those. 1, 3, 5 is below to the right. That's the default. So below to the right and 5 points is right about there. Click OK. And there you can see where that puts all the labels. To better set off the labels, what we can do is we can use a box. So let's click here and let's take a look at what some of these tabs do. Number one is the box. One of the most common ones. So if we click box to turn on the box, we can use any one of these formats, and there will be more coming, of course, but these are the ones that we have available right now. And let's use a padding of 5 points, which sets the padding distance from the box to the rest of the label. And we can change colors. For example, we can make the stroke color for the box black. We can make the stroke color for the box white. We can change the fill color for the box, and I'm going to use this color here that I've been playing with. It's a nice dark green. I like that. And if we like, we can even put a shadow in the box. We can click shadow, and let's change the shadow to that, and let's change it to 2 points. So that looks not too bad. Click that, and you can see where that puts our box relative to the point. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to change this so that we're going to put the move. We're going to put the label directly above the anchor point. Or, tell you what, better than that, I'll just turn off the label anchors. There. So now let's keep playing with these labels somewhat more. Let's make them even bigger. Let's make them 20 points. So that really gives you an idea of what all the labels are like. Now that's a little bit too big. Let's make them 18 points. Okay, that's cool. Let's go back here into Total Style, and let's learn how to use icons. If we like, we can associate an icon and put the icon at some location in the box. So we can use all these different styles for icons, so we can even use images. Let's use this icon style right there. And for the stroke color of the icon, we're going to use, let's use black for the stroke color. And for the fill color of the icon, let's use this nice color orange. And that produces that effect right there. And so we don't have to, so we can see all this stuff better centered. I'm going to turn off the move. We don't need the move anymore. There. And if I click OK to that, what we've done is we've just created a set of labels that consist of a box. The box is a drop shadow, and there's also an icon in the box shadow as well. And that icon can be one of a huge number of different symbols. I mean, right now for the icon, we're using these symbols here, but we can use anything that Manifold can use as symbols. For example, we could use glyphs. If we wanted to use that one right there, we could do that. Or an ox symbol. I think that's how you pronounce that symbol. Or that. Click OK. That's pretty. We can add effects to the icon. So for example, an icon can have its own shadow. And let's make the shadow in this a Also black drop shadow. Let's make it only a 1 point offset. And let's do that one right there. I like that symbol a lot. So you can create icons, and you can put icons. You can also position icons within the label as well. So where the icon is, for example, we can move the icon. We can put the icon in the 90 position, which puts it on that side. We can put it in the 0 position, which puts it above. We can put it in the 180 position, which puts it below. Positions here are kind of quantized for the icons. So if we put it in the 45 angle position, it's sort of above and to the right in the row of 3 here. So it's not quite to the right, but it's to the right, but above, or to right below would be the 135 position. And you got to enter those numbers right. Amazing how this computer stuff works. And there you see how that looks. Let's go back to where we were here. Kind of a dumb number. So there's that. Let's see. Let's leave the icon in the default position to the left. Anyway, we've learned how to use the standard collection of symbols. We've learned, and I'm going to turn off the shadow here. We've learned how to use glyphs. You can use any one of these hundreds and hundreds of glyphs. I think there's about 500 glyphs right now. You could use a font. So let's use the Mediocons font, which we use in quite a few of our demos. That's meteorological symbols. Let's see, what's a good one? There's a nice sunny icon, and that one's let's put that in bright yellow. And for that one, we definitely want a shadow. There. If you're in the business of weather forecasting, you can thematically format these too. So if you want to use different icons for different symbols, well, sure, you can do that. That's no problem. And the other cool thing we can do here is not just use the standard, the glyphs, any font that we like, and those can be image fonts. Those could be like letters or whatever. We can also use images. So, for example, here's some images that I loaded earlier. This one happens to be of an avocado, and we'll make that 200% in size, so that'll make it about 200, twice as large as the font itself. If the font is 18 points, that'll make the avocado symbol 36 points. Click OK. Let's see what that does. And there, too, we can also move that one. We can position that icon relative to the text, just as we would with any of them. So we're going to have to make that 90. And we can increase the spacing here to make that 10, to make it farther away, or 20. So that puts it farther away from the text for effects like this right there. Notice how the labels are starting to clip each other. Manifold will automatically clip labels if there's too many of them on screen. So let's make that a little bit smaller, 12, so you can see how they appear when they don't overlap. Okay, let's move it back to 18. And let's add an image to the image collection that we're using. Let's say we're using an icon, and instead of moving it, we're going to leave it in the default position to the left. And we're going to add some images here in the image collection. In the image grid, I want to add some images. I want to add the collection of beads that we use. And let's see. Here we go. Beads are fun. We'll just add not that many of them. The round shapes, many of which are color coordinates. For example, this one appears in kind of like an orange. This one here is a 20 ping A. That's with a dark anti-aliasing. So that's a kind of a yellow-orange. This one's the blue equivalent. That's a green equivalent. It kind of clashes. That clashes too. That's a little dark. Let's use that one right there. Click OK. And that puts the point symbol there. If we think that's a little bit too big, we can reduce the size of that icon symbol relative to the rest of the box by making it, say, 100%. And actually, let's make it a little bit bigger. Let's make it 120%. There, that's a nice effect. Anyway, that's a quick look at how you can play with labels. There's just an incredible variety of effects that you can create with the labels. You can use all these different colors. Quite often, given the various combinations of colors that you can make the box, colors that you can make the icons, and colors that you can use for things like shadow and halo, I think you can have up to 12 or 15 different colors going at the same time. So for example, for the box, you can put a halo on it. which adds a little bit of color around the box. Let's make that a little bit of a darker. Excuse me, I want to click on this one right here. Let's make that kind of a darker green. And that provides kind of like a stepped effect to the box. So there, I hope you've enjoyed the tour. Please go ahead and play around with these. You can do a lot with labels. And if you ever want to restore these back to the default, you can get one of these quick deals just like that. Use one of these quick settings for any one of the fonts that's kind of built in. And don't forget that all these labels are still live labels, so you can do all kinds of cool stuff with them with Manifold, because Manifold, everything is a table. So for example, if we don't want these labels anchored to the anchor points, but we want them to be anchored to the areas here from which we originally created the anchor points, we can just right click on that, choose properties, and choose the drawing to which they from which they take their values, and make that Australia, Australia. Gotta learn how to spell. Click OK. And now the points instantly will take the labels will instantly take their location from the areas. Let's change that style just a little bit. Let's put a shadow on there so they're more visible. Done. So you can see how quickly all this goes. You can see how quickly you can change things like main things like colors. It's very fast, very easy to use. Once you get your head around it, you'll be amazed at how quickly you can accomplish stuff for better or for worse effects. You can create some spectacularly ugly effects or some really beautiful effects. My advice is to keep it simple. Like a lot of things in graphics arts design, less is more. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and goodbye from Manifold Land. Well, that was fun. If you want to see more, visit us at www.manifold.net. As always, Manifold delivers the world's most advanced, highest quality spatial products for GIS and DBMS at a low price that you can afford. Once again, that's manifold.net. See you soon.